Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. This is about the 1000th try I've had to make this video. My anxiety has been really hitting me really bad the last day. And so hopefully this all kind of makes sense in the end. But tonight we're going to be talking about Batman Curse of the White Knight by Sean Murphy and why it's, to me, the best Batman book that we have right now. I mean, Last Night on Earth was really good by Snyder and Capullo. And Detective Comics by Tomasi, I hear really good things about it. Unfortunately for me, the whole Arkham Knight storyline a little while back just really threw me off. I hated that storyline. And so I kind of dropped the book, and I have never not gone back. Then we've got the Tom King thing that's going on. And whether you like Tom King or not, here's the truth. There is a lot of dissension amongst Batman fans. I don't know a lot of people that love the Tom King run. I stuck with reading it because I wanted to support the book and also just to see how bad it could possibly get, and it just kept getting worse. It wasn't the worst book in history, but it was really bad. 85 issue run that started out so promising, and then with Tinian taking over, but only till 5G, right, takes over and the whole thing changes again. So even the new Batman right now is kind of got like the stink of Tom King on it and the soon to be stink, in my opinion, 5G initiative that they're coming up with. So what do we have in the meantime? And right now what we have is Sean Murphy's Batman Curse of the White Knight, a Black Label book, which, to be honest with you, Black Label is where it's at for Batman stories. I don't know why, but this is where the good ones are coming out. Just like Last Night on Earth, we get a different version of the Batman mythology. I mean, Snyder and Capullo's was from the New 52, and they were closing out that series. But what Murphy's doing, double duty with writing and drawing, he's really bringing something special to the Batman story right now. There's still 2 issues left, and we're going to be talking about issues 1 through 6 plus Von Doom. I always say Von Doom because Victor Von Doom is in fresh in my head. Von Freeze. But just a little background. So before Curse of the White Knight came out, he did White Knight, Batman White Knight. And if you don't know what that is, it's a story of a rehabilitated Joker who becomes Jack Napier. That's his real name in this Batman universe. That's a nod to Jack Nicholson's Joker from the Tim Burton '89 movie. And in this, he starts dredging up some secrets of Gotham, and pointing out, gets the people of Gotham to believe that Batman's really the villain, and he runs for political office, and it's really, really good. And eventually, the Joker takes back over. And we end up here where we're at with Curse of the White Knight, where Batman starts to, be the Batman again. Like, he's not seen as the villain anymore, as much. And so we're going to be talking about each book one at a time, and I'll be discussing why, again, throughout this whole thing, why I consider this to be the best book series. So we're going to be right back in a second with Von Freeze. Okay, so with Von Freeze, it's the only time that he is not drawing. This is by Klaus Janson. And this book, okay, to be clear, I had started reading Curse of the White Knight. I read issues 1, 2, and 3, and then I kind of got really lost in some of my books. I was collecting and doing so many reviews, but I forgot about my Curse of the White Knights. And then Von Freeze came out, and I missed it, and I don't know how, and I finally picked it up. And I was like, well, I've got it up to issue 6 in Curse of the White Knight, and I really want to talk about this. So I read Von Freeze, and I was like, holy crap, I think I need to reread the whole thing. And so I started here. Von Freeze is this excellent new look at not really the origin of Victor Von Freeze, but the story that's going to play an important little detail in Curse of the White Knight, which I didn't even realize until one of the many tries that I've done to make this video why this book is important. Not just important, though. This is a very, very good story that deals with Nazi time Germany and Europe. And I know a lot of people don't like to say the word Nazis on YouTube anymore, but whatever the hell. I don't give a fuck. And so it tells the story of Victor's father. and how him and a friend um, were able to help each other out and try to get through the war. His friend being a Jewish man. One sec. Let me get some more details. So at the beginning of this book, we get this great picture, right? It's pretty menacing. Seeing Von Fries, they call him the Baron. You know, he's just shot this guy. And without any context, we see Victor standing over this guy who's got a baby, and he gives the baby to him to take care of. And we shoot ahead to Victor working for Thomas Wayne, or at least for the Waynes. And he's got this woman named Nora here, who we know in normal stories is his wife. But in this story, Thomas Wayne comes in, pregnant with who we can only assume is Bruce, right? And Martha's having problems, and with Victor's technology, what they do is they put her on ice so they can stabilize her so that they can help her give birth without her dying. And while they're doing this, Thomas asks him about his father, about Victor's father. And this is where we start to learn about this character named Jacob, and who worked with his father, and how back in Nazi Germany, him and his dad were really close friends. They were working on stuff together, and then the Nazis took over, and Victor's father ended up working for the Germans. But he didn't want to lose his friend. He knew that if his friend stayed, he'd die. He'd get killed. But what they ended up doing was creating this kind of partnership, this like secret partnership, where they were working together in secret, where Victor's dad was keeping his family and Jacob's family, his best friend, safe while they both worked on things without anybody really catching on. But unfortunately, the machine of war and World War II and the Nazis rolling in, things just kept getting more difficult for the family. And when Jacob notices that Victor's not being much of a father to Victor, there's all these names. Victor's father has stopped kind of being a father because he's towing the Nazi party line and trying to keep, nobody from noticing them. And so he's started to do some really awful things to protect all these people that he loves. And Jacob finally finds out about it, and they find out that they've been working on all of their experiments, and they're experimenting on all the Jews with their technology, which makes Jacob just lose it. And so they go on the run. They try to leave. They try to take their whole family with them, much to Victor's dad, the Baron, to his chagrin. And of course, this is where they're, set upon by Nazis, and it's a very tense situation. Victor's dad, the Baron, tries to protect everybody, but Jacob is insistent that they all leave, and he gets shot. And this is where Victor takes the baby Nora to be protected. But the rest of his family, they're put on a truck. They're getting put away. They're going to end up in the camps and killed just like the rest of the Jews. So Victor's dad, though, he takes he ends up taking a truck. Well, he goes out and gets ahead of the Nazis and stands in the road, and when they get distracted by Victor in the woods, he unloads on them with his freeze gun and freezing all the Nazis that were going to kill Jacob's family. And then he goes, while they're frozen, he walks up to each one and blows them a fucking way. And, just to make sure that no one will ever know and no one will ever talk. And so he saves everybody's family, right? Or Jacob's family. And this is where, Thomas gives him this watch of his father's. And it's this very his grandfather's, and it's this very important thing. And Bruce is eventually born, right? Or Bruce is born, and we flash forward to the future where Victor hands this watch back to Bruce, and he says, whether it be as a husband, a surgeon, a business leader, or a friend, to a terrified refugee like me, that commitment to others runs deep in your blood. That's what makes you a Wayne. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now, that's a very, very important thing. Because when they get into the cars, like Harley Quinn's there, and they drive off, and we find out that this little moment is going to be important to the rest of the book. So we'll get to issue number 1 next. So in Batman Curse of the White Knight, book 1, we see that there was a story about Laffy Arkham, who is being fought by Edmund Wayne. And Laffy is a vampire in Gotham. And him, Thomas and his friend, they vanquish him. And they throw him down this pit. And he talks about there's this curse. This whole place is cursed. And, there are demons in these darkened forests, ancient ones that seep from these mountains and rivers and flow through the village at night. And he's like, sorry, I don't believe in curses. Which, well, we know now that there will be a curse, because otherwise, why is it called Curse of the White Knight? Another cool thing about this whole world is it's got this like very postmodern, like not modern, but like a modern setting, but it's also very kind of feels a turn of the century kind of look to it. But it's also got little nods to like the giant gun that the Joker has. Looks like the gun from 1989 Batman in here. And that goes with like him being called Jack Napier. But the Joker, he is back, and he's in the asylum, and he gets the warden to take him to this place to get these secrets out that he finds. And they, in turn, find this place where they find the body of this Laffy Arkham that's down here, him and Gordon. And we also get introduced to this character named Ruth, who's working with the Joker, and she represents like the elites, kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it the Court of Owls in this, they haven't really said. Also, Nightwing and Batgirl work for the GCPD as Nightwing and Batgirl, but kind of like Watchmen, they have their secret identities protected. So like they're not vigilantes, they work for the cops, but they still get to keep their code names. Meanwhile, Batman still just does Batman stuff. And they are also introduced to Jean Paul, who, if you've been paying attention to Batman history, is Azrael. And he gets brought in on this. He's all messed up from the Order of St. Dumas. And they want to use him as this new Batman for the city. They want him to take over for Bruce, because Bruce isn't going to do what the elites don't like what Bruce is doing. And he's bringing he's bringing a lot of problems to them, that he's going to expose a lot of things and make a lot of changes. And so they bring him in, and the Joker gives him this whole rigmarole that, you're a king, the rightful heir to Gotham. The wars, the sickness, the ghosts in your nightmares, God hasn't been torturing you, he's been preparing you. They murdered your ancestors and seized your land, and for 7 generations they've sat on your throne. And he's like calling him, like, are you an angel? He's like, yeah, I'm here to reveal your holy trinity. The truth behind your name, behind the valley, God needs you, Azrael. And you have to slay the demon known as Bruce Wayne. So bringing this guy in to be the guy who kills Batman, and starts to expose these real secrets, the big secret that is coming up that's going to make Bruce really fucking freak. So, in book number 2, this was the variant page. I really like these covers. And also, his art, man, and his writing. Like I said, double threat, man. There aren't a lot of people that can pull off great writing and great art at the same time. It just doesn't happen. Like Todd McFarlane, I remember when he was doing, Spawn and Spider-Man. And look, man, I like Todd as an artist. But writing, not so much, like all I'm saying. And so when you get a guy like this, it's rare. And it's just an awesome thing. So in the second book, we're introduced to this guy named Bakar, who's also like a priest from Dumas. And he takes to Edmund Wayne and tells him, let's go to Gotham and clean up together. Because Edmund's going there to reclaim his lands And this guy wants to clean up Gotham. He believes in demons and all sorts of stuff. You know, Edmund's like seeing him kick butt and like cutting heads off of people and everything. He's like, what kind of priest are you? Uh, but he doesn't believe in the demons, and Bakar does. But they have this really great partnership. They do what they set out to do, and they come and they take back what Edmund wanted, and they seem to have this great relationship. But again, they're telling this story in a certain way, in a certain kind of flashback that makes you go, where's the rub? Like, what's the dark secret about all this? Meanwhile, Bruce is being like telling this Ruth lady, like, I'm going to come out as Batman. I'm going to tell everybody everything. And she's trying to, you know, he's telling her, I'm going to do whatever it takes to expose you people. And she tries to blackmail him. And, you know, tell him you'll beg to go to prison because we're going to basically come after you with you and everyone that you care about. And we're going to bring every supervillain. Meanwhile, Gordon decides to run for mayor. But then right in the middle of his, you know, run for mayor is like even just announcing going for mayor, Joker pops up and exposes Batgirl as Gordon's daughter, completely giving up her identity. And he blames Batman, you know, this is all your fault. All this stuff is kind of coming down because of you, and if you just had done this before, now we're all facing it. But that's just kind of Gordon being Gordon. We've seen this kind of plot before, but it's always, this is written and done so well. And quickly, you know, Azrael starts making plans to take down Batman. Also, Bruce, he wants the help of Harley Quinn, who is very pregnant with Jack Napier's baby. He wants her to help him get Jack back. He thinks that she can help him and the whole city get through past Joker and get to Jack again. Can tell them what they need to know to stop Joker and Azrael and all of this. And meanwhile, Azrael puts together like a mercenary team and goes after Batman, and basically with the help of Mad Hatter takes all control of everything in the Batcave and starts just torching and blasting everything. Bruce is able to get control of the Batmobile at the last minute and get away, but everything just gets incinerated. The whole Wayne estate. Azrael is scorched earthing Bruce Wayne because he believes that he is the true heir to all this stuff and that everything's been stolen from him. And Joker's the one who told him. And see, that's the rub again, is that it's Joker telling you this. But in the first White Knight, he was exposing secrets, and here he is again. And so, you know, like, even if as I'm reading this, I'm like, it's coming from the Joker, but at the same time, why would the Joker lie? I think the truth is way better than fiction, and I think that's why he's doing it, is that, you know, to really destroy Batman, he's going to destroy Batman with the truth. So we'll be right back with issue 3. Alright, so in book 3 of Curse of the White Knight, Batman has just been almost killed by Azrael, and he gets away barely, and he's trying to get back to everybody to explain to them all what's going on, and that they need to get Joker interrogated. They need to get him in. And so he goes to Harley again to talk to her, saying, you're the only one I think that can get Jack to come out. He's in there, I know it. And she needs to trust him. So they go in, and Joker just, you know, they play their back and forth, which is always really good. It's really well written because, you know, he thinks, you know, first Joker kind of runs in like, oh, I know this and all that, and here's the information, just giving it up. Oh, this is Azrael, he's my knight and all that, and, you know, he's pretty bored, gets pretty bored, and then Batman lays onto him, I know about Lafayette Arkham, that's right, we found the thanks to the help of Jack Napier. And he's like, Napier? And he's like, he told me you discovered the Joker there. All these years I thought you were the worst villain in the city had ever seen, but you're just a cheap knockoff. But you find out that where the Joker was created was when Laffy told him a joke written in blood in the cave of the greatest joke in all of Gotham. And that's the joke that Joker's getting ready to tell, but he wants to do it in his great grand finale. So Harley comes in, and unfortunately, as she thinks she's prepared to handle him, he completely just goes, says the most awful stuff about her. He's like, "Oh Lord, can't you take a hint? It's over. I tell you, damaged girls might be great in the sack, but they're always so clingy." He's like, "Sure, we had some good times, but let's face it, you're worthless, weak, unlovable. Victimhood is your superpower." And Batman almost jumps over the table, and she's like, I got this, no problem. Like, I can handle it. And he's just laughing. He goes, "Ooh, that's quite a..." He sees the baby bump, and he's like, "That's quite a bump, Puddin'. Now things are getting interesting. I'm guessing twins? That's why you're here? Child support? I suppose I could spare a few bucks. I mean, one of those brats is basically mine, but I'll have to abort Napier's. Batman, I don't suppose your utility belt has a coat hanger." Fuck. Well, that's when she almost jumps over the table. They hit him as well. So he just basically hits them right where they live. He knows exactly what pressure points to push. And so what they're trying to do is get all this stuff is going down, and they find that there's another body in that cave where Joker found Laffy's body, and the joke written in blood. And so everybody's kind of having like a night to drink and vent and stuff. And they, Commissioner Gordon leaves. So they're kind of congratulating him on running for mayor and everything. And don't take, just trying to have a good night. And he sees this figure in the shadows, and he assumes it's Batman. He says, "Oh, I was hoping to run into you. Listen, sorry I blew up all over that. She's all I have. Barbara's all I have. You know, I guess I was trying to convince myself that it wasn't her decision, that it was yours. But I know better. My daughter than she likes me. She's like me. No one can force her to do anything. And they say, no more secrets. Deal, deal. And they shake hands, and that's when you see that that's not Batman. I mean, I knew it wasn't Batman. We all should know it's not Batman because he's with Harley." They cut back immediately so that that that's not who he's shaking hands with. And all of a sudden, Azrael's guys all open fire. He's got Gordon by with a sword on him. And everybody's opening fire. And, Gordon asks, "Who are you?" And he says, "I am the light of the world. He that followeth with me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Tell the devil Azrael sent you." And with that, he takes the sword and stabs Gordon right in the chest as everybody's opening fire. Bullock takes a couple of rounds, and he kicks Gordon off the balcony and sends him flying, careening into the alley. And that's the end of book 3. Right back with book 4. So, in book 4, this is Barbara going after Azrael for revenge as Batman starts to continue to uncover the secrets that Joker was looking for. And we get this nice page of them talking, and Barbara having this really great moment about how she's talking about she's being picked on by bullies. She didn't want to hit anybody, and telling him what happened. A boy on the playground tried to kiss me, and I pushed him. He fell, and his lip was bleeding. And she didn't want to get in trouble, and that's where he just tells her, "Look, this time you hit back, you fight harder. You're a fighter like me. Don't tell your mother, but you're a fighter like me. You're not a princess." And they intercut that with him in the hospital getting worked on, and she can't take it any longer. And it's really sweet and really sad at the same time as she runs off, and then Batman comes in as she's charging out the door, and we get this really great moment between him and Gordon where he charges in and holds his friend who has died. And Gordon dies. It's a big freaking story. And so, we get your typical, everybody blaming Batman, blaming each other, Nightwing trying to tell everybody, "Look, man, nobody's, we all signed up for this. This isn't Bruce's fault." But in any other writer's hands, this might be, done kind of poorly, but it's done fantastically. So Bats goes and sees Leslie Tompkins, who just helped deliver Harley's kids, or at least I know Batman helped deliver him too, but she's like watching over Harley. And Bruce kind of falls on his knees to her and he's like, I lost Gordon tonight. And it's just like, it's real heavy. And this is where, Barbara, she's doing all the research she can to try to track down Azrael. This is kind of like the beginnings of Oracle in her research mode, where she finds like a car that was sitting there. And we get the story from Leslie about Alfred and her. Now, Alfred in this universe, he's died already. And they get to this guy who, if you look really closely, if you don't know who that is, I was like, wait, man, that's Jason Etrigan, the demon. But they don't reveal it right away. I just kept going, oh, they're just going to... If this isn't him, I don't know who this is. But he basically gets this manuscript that he took from the Joker. And it's got a secret in there. It's a warning. And it's about the blood feud between the Waynes and the Bakars. And it's something that Bruce is never supposed to know because it would ruin everything. It would ruin Bruce. It would ruin all of what's going on. And so Barbara, arms up, goes out. Harvey Bullock is there. And he's like, all right, let's go kick this guy's ass. Let's go kill him. Which, bad idea. It's bad ideas. That's a really bad idea. But again, it's done so well and so believably and not in just some stupid, corny way where you know where this is headed, but you don't know where this is headed, like you suspected. But it's like, how are they going to make it different than what we already know, right? And so she really goes after him and takes him down, and she's going to kill him. And Bruce, again, he stops her from killing him. Oops. But unfortunately, and this is where, Bruce's code comes in, and because he stops her, you break her back. So instead of getting shot by the Joker in the Killing Joke, this is what happens to her. Now, Bruce stops him and pulls him away, and, he doesn't even kill Bruce here. He's actually kind of surprised that, he's, like, still fighting and he's still here. And Bruce... he leaves because he's like, he wants, this is our destiny, our retribution. And Bruce comes out with Barbara in his arms, paralyzed now. At least, at first I thought maybe she was dead. So, book 5 coming up. Okay, so book 5 of Batman Curse of the White Knight starts with the funeral of James Gordon and how the city is mourning his loss. And it's all really emotional, powerful stuff, and everybody's wondering, where's Bruce at? Well, Bruce is out there in the reservoir going underwater to find out what's hidden there, because Joker had given him this thing about drowning. This Gotham is drowning in secrets. And he goes down there, and he finds this cross. It's the St. Dumas cross, and comes back, and everybody's like, well, where were you? And he's like, well, I didn't think anybody really wanted me there. I didn't want to cause any more trouble, but, we're here. We need to focus on the work now. And taking care of this guy Azrael. And this is where we find out that what Bruce thinks is the secret is that Edmund Wayne flooded a section of Gotham City, and that's how he made, it changed the landscape of Gotham City, like, for real, and then he was able to reclaim all these lands, and that's how he made his fortune in this terrible decision, and that's what he thinks is the secret that would destroy him. And as far as secrets that could destroy you go, it's not too bad. Unfortunately, it's not the secret we're looking for. And so Harley goes back to visit Jack again, who's still the Joker. And this time, though, she's able to convince, she tells him, you're not going to do anything to these kids because Jack won't let you. And just when she's about to leave, he finally makes it out. So Joker's very much like a split personality, and it's even a physical transformation occurs. So if you look really closely, he's white, but then he goes back to having a regular face. So it's a very interesting dynamic that this guy has with himself. Meanwhile, they also find the cops who Jean Paul is, who he's working with, all these people that have had terrible things happen to him. And he's made these people true believers in his cause. But they also find out that he's got terminal cancer, something I probably should have talked about earlier. He's got nothing to lose. Azrael is basically on a suicide mission to reclaim what was his, but at the same and fight for God and all this other stuff. But at the same time, he knows he's not going to live long enough to enjoy it. He just wants to be on the right side, you know. And so they go down there and they find out, you know, they discuss again, like the secret that Joker saw, and he convinces, he tells her what it is, but that you can never tell Batman. And he's like, why? Because it will destroy him. Meanwhile, Ruth comes in with Azrael, and they're looking at this bat suit, this really cool bat suit that we've seen, you know, in other iterations of before. And she's telling Azrael, like, you went too far, man. You got to back off. You're a loose cannon. This is all over with. And she brings in this world's Bane. Yeah, he looks a lot different there. And so he's all just boom. I mean, think about it. Bane versus Azrael, two huge motherfuckers going at each other. And then he juices up. And he even gets Azrael up in the air to break him. But one of his mercenaries gets behind him and yanks it out, which is his venom out, which gives Azrael enough time to cut his head off. And I love this because look at the contrast of like up so high, ready to break the, you know, bat that he would have way back in the day. Instead it's Azrael. And then on that very next page, you know, you see him getting his head cut off. I mean, I like that he shows this to us. I mean, whoever opened this page up knew, you could just tell what was going to happen. It's just how it happens and the way it's written down makes you just go, oh my God. Even though you're surprised and not surprised at the same time. So, Harley lies and tells Batman that that Joker doesn't know what the message on the wall was, and that, you know, you just need to trust him. Meanwhile, Azrael, though, he has snuck into where all the supervillains are, and he just one by one just takes everyone out. You've got Harvey Dent, you've got the Penguin, you've got Riddler, you've got Scarecrow, you've got the ventriloquist. You've got, oh gosh, there's more in here. I can't even, Sutton, but I don't think that's Poison Ivy. But everyone. Oh, and even the little, like, the little girl right there. Like, I don't know if she was ever in the books, but I know she was in the animated series, right? The one where she's Baby Doll. You know, even she gets killed. And, you know, he's like, oh, Joker's like clearing out the competition. How'd you get past security? He's like, well, easy, because I'm Batman. And that's book number 5. Okay, so we finally make it to book number 6. I appreciate you guys listening to me talk about this because it's just an exciting story to discuss. So, in this 6th book, you know, Azrael and Joker have taken over, and Batman and Harley are working together, and what she does, well, first Batman ends up back with Jason Etrigan, and Etrigan the demon tries to tell him, you know, what the truth is, and he tells him the real backstory of what really happened, because this guy is claiming to have been around a long time, and if you know, Etrigan the demon's been around for a long time. And you find out that like what Aaron Eckhart's Harvey Dent says in The Dark Knight, you know, either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain. And Edmund Wayne basically becomes a villain. He becomes everything that he hated and was fighting against. And he was, you know, once he got what he wanted, he was loving and lording and you know, taking on people and just being a overall menace, really. And Bruce is still not up, you know, they still haven't quite told him, but he knows now that, like, his family isn't as clean and nice as it seems. He tells Harley to suit up and help him out, and they go in to find the Joker, who has kidnapped her kids. That's why she's with him right now, and it's a really intense scene because he's mocking her every inch of the way as Jack finally fights his way free, and it's just really great because, you know, he's like, basically Jack tells Joker that Joker becomes Jack again and tells Harley, you know, Don't listen to him, Harley. You're not helpless. The truth is he's scared of you. That's why he always kept you at a distance, because you saw the things he was most ashamed of, his humanity and his compassion. And that's how you beat him, by turning it against him. You surpassed everything the Joker ever did. He sat by helplessly while you overturned Gotham and Batman in ways he never could. He's humiliated. His greatest enemy isn't me, and it isn't Batman. It's you. And in any other universe, I'd say, fuck you. But it is done such a great way and written in such a powerful way, and it just shows like it really is true. In this world, Harley Quinn is the Joker's biggest enemy, because he's always putting her down to make himself feel better, when he's really the one who really feels like he has not been able to do any of the things that she's been able to do to Batman and to the Joker. It's pretty awesome. But she gets the kids away, and Jack's able to like fight himself to where he basically tries to gouge his own eye out. And there's kind of a fight, and a shot rings out. Like, he's telling her, you got to take me out, because he's going to take over again. And I love that he's wearing like the Batman 89 kind of t-shirt that everybody had back then. And the shot goes out, and you don't know what happens. Meanwhile, you find out the truth, the secret, the big secret that Joker just can't wait to tell him, is that after all this stuff that had gone down, and Edmund Wayne had basically become the villain, he's like, you got it wrong, Batman. It wasn't Bakar who died next to Laffy, because that's who they thought is at the bottom of the pit next to Laffy Arkham, is that it's Bakar that got put down there, when really it was Edmund Wayne. And since Wayne wasn't going to help Bakar get his part of the bargain out of this, he wasn't giving him his part of the land and everything, Edmund basically said, fuck you, man, I'm taking it all for myself. And Bakar stabs and kills Edmund Wayne, takes his place, becomes an imposter, and so the Waynes, they're dead. There are no Waynes. They're only this guy. And so he takes over the identity of Wayne, and so Bruce isn't even a Wayne, the biggest joke of them all. He's like, that's why I'm always smiling, Batman, because of the joke I was told in Edmund's tomb, that Gotham's greatest hero is descended from criminals, that you're using a stolen fortune to wage a war on crime that your family helped create. Don't you get it, Bruce? You're not really a Wayne. Azrael is, because that's, yeah. But Harley gets a drop on him, and he's like, you won't do it. You don't got the blam. And she blows Joker away. And he turns back into Jack, and Batman tells Jack she'll be okay. So Joker is now dead, and we've only got 2 issues left. But that's like, how do you top that with 2 more issues left to go? How do you top that? Because Azrael to me has always been kind of a, but they've done a really good job. Like, everybody's dead. All the supervillains are dead. Joker's dead. Gordon's dead. Alfred's dead. The Secret's out. So the next 2 issues, while I have complete faith in Sean Murphy to like wow me, I'm just like, if this is what book 6 is, imagine what book 7 and 8 are going to be. It's amazing. And again, I can't tell you how good the writing and the art is in this book. It feels, this is the universe, like, if you were going to end Batman, if you were going to say there were going to be no more Batman stories, honestly, I could deal with this being the final Batman book if somebody told me that. I might have wished that the Joker would last a little longer in it, but it's still a really, really fun read. And while I said, there's nothing wrong with Capullo's Last Night on Earth, and if you like Tomasi, great. And if you've just been a fan of Batman through Tom King and Tynion, good on you. But for me, paying the extra $1 for this Black Label story about this Elseworlds type of Batman story, just taking things in such an interesting, familiar way and doing it so well written, To me, you shouldn't pass it up. And if you can find a chance to pick up the trades or the single issues, go out and read them now, because I have a feeling that they're going to be hard to get their hands on eventually. So, if you like this big old synopsis of Batman Curse of the White Knight, please hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber to the channel already, please consider becoming a subscriber. I can't believe I got through this whole video without having a panic or an anxiety attack. We will be back with more comic reviews. So keep reading comics. You can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. And have a great night, everybody. Peace out. I need to breathe and drink some water. Bye.